We'd like to thank Adam and Eve for their disobedience in the garden. In the garden, there were no weeds, no thorns, no thistles. But after they disobeyed, the Lord told them they were going to have to fight those things, and by the sweat of their brow, they'd have to earn the things that they would eat. So here we go again. Got the weed killer out because they're coming up all around the trees, the fence line, all around the property. If you don't stay ahead of them, they'll get ahead of you. Hi, I'm Craig Fritchley, pastor of Calvary Apostolic Tabernacle, with today's devotional. You know what? God wants you to keep things under control in your own life. That's why He's given you authority, the ability to control your thoughts, the ability to control what resides around you, and the things that you allow to influence you. And so don't let things that God doesn't intend for you to have in your life stay there. Kick them out. If there's a thought that's against God, replace it with a godly thought. If there's something happening around that gives you a bad attitude, then ask God to help you about that and think on the good things. That's why the Apostle Paul told us we need to think on the right things, the things that are healthy, the things that have virtue, the things that will promote good things in your life and not the junk that's in this world. See, this world's trying to fill your mind with spiritual weeds, things that will take over and that will zap the potential that you have in your life, because that's what weeds really do. They take the nutrients out of the ground, they take the water out of the ground, and they fight against the good things that are growing. That's why farmers know they've got to keep the weeds under control. So they'll spray them because they don't want them competing with the crops, the soybeans, the wheat, the corn, whatever it might be. And so they keep the weeds under control so that the good crop can grow. And that's what God wants you to do. He wants you to keep the things in your mind under control. 2 Corinthians tells us that we bring those thoughts into captivity. We have mighty weapons, and we use those weapons that God has given us so that we think on the right things. We don't let our imaginations get out of control. We cast down those imaginations and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. So use the tools that God has given you. Some of the weeds we pull by hand, but if we don't get the roots out, it doesn't matter. They're going to grow back. So that's why we go to the next step. We use the weed killer, because it kills the weeds all the way down to the roots so they don't come back. And that's really what God wants in your life. He wants you to have control. He wants you to think on the right things, and He wants you to be productive. He wants you to have a satisfying life. But give God that access, and you take control of the things that God has told you to take control of, and produce the things that God wants you to produce. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. If you have any questions or a comment, please leave it below. We hope you share these with others. There is a link below if you'd like to give to the ministry to help with the expenses of our devotionals. We appreciate everyone and their faithfulness. He's an awesome God. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you on the next devotional.